Well, welcome to all these things where we talk about all things and everything as long as they have positive impact on our individual and collective lives on Rest Africa FM. My name is Oluwatoyin Ojeyomi, and it feels so good once again to be with you, Rare Breeds, on all these things. I hope you had a good week. On the show today is someone who's wearing God knows how many hats today. Uh, One of the people behind the Rest Africa FM journey, uh, a co-presenter, a co-anchor of all these things on numerous occasions. Now an author, and somewhere down the line, we talked about her experience as a cancer survivor.
Mhm.
And I told her something. I said, when God calls you onto a purpose, you're in deep shh. Yeah. And that's because when he calls you to tell a story to the rest of the world, uh, he takes you through the experience first.
Mhm.
And while you're going through the experience, you think you are just trying to solve a problem for yourself and live a quiet, happy life ever after.
Mhm.
Not knowing that what you're experiencing is something that is preparing you for a bigger experience.
Mhm.
This is the case and story of Penelope Hyatt, a cancer survivor who went through a long journey that many feared for her, but she
Mhm.
mustered her own strength, not just to be there for herself, but even for the people that were fearing for her.
Mhm.
That is a place of strength. Now, all these things that we have just talked about, plus her experience as far as the cancer experience, going through treatment and all that, her
Mhm.
faith, her spirituality, and everything that's taken her far. All of these things brought about a book that is entitled The Power You Carry.
Mhm.
We've talked about the book, we've talked about why she wrote it and all that. But today we're putting her on the spot, and she's going to be talking about the power you carry. And the book brings a story of humans being stuck, almost feeling that because they're stuck, that is their story,
Mhm.
getting confused, getting distracted. But with the book, she talks about clarity. She says that even when you think you're stuck, that is not your story. You need to go to that place within
Mhm.
to remember the power you carry, which is going to lift you from the abyss into places of hope. Welcome to
Mhm.
the show as my guest today, not as my co-presenter, Penelope.
Well, thank you for having me, Papa T. I'm super excited about today, about this time in my life, about this season, just about all things that are going on now as it pertains to the power you carry. This is something that is deeply personal to me. As you stated, this is something that I have literally lived and walked through and lived out. The interesting part about this book is it started before the cancer journey. Initially, when I started writing, I thought this was going to be a devotional, and I just started writing it in a devotional format. It got put on pause because life was lifing, and I got busy and I didn't get to finish, but it stayed in that email.
Mhm.
And it was actually during recovery where I got the time and opportunity to finish it. And so, of course, I went back to the beginning and looked at what I had previously written in. And obviously, after cancer and treatment and the journey and all of the things, it was like, I have another lens. I have another perspective with this. So I went back and edited what I had previously written and then took it from there. And during recovery, you have nothing but time. And so I really had the time to finish and complete the thought. And so in my life, I have, from a very young child, been a leader. I've always stood out. I've always been an overachiever. But that wasn't a space that I necessarily enjoyed. I wasn't the person, ooh, pick me, pick me. I have the answer, right? It's normally me somewhere being quiet, and the teacher or the facilitator is like, Penelope, we haven't heard from you. What do you think about that? Or what's the answer? And so I give my answer, and it's like, wow, you were holding all that inside. And so I've come up in that, even to in my adulthood, and even once I accepted the call that was on my life. I never was the one to ask to teach or preach,
Mm,
right? Let me sit in the back, let me send the emails, let me send the letters. Like, administration is my safe place. Writing, putting together an event, all of the behind the scenes things, I'm your girl. Sign me up, right? I'm going to make sure your schedule is together. I'm going to make sure your correspondence is together. I'm going to make sure you've eaten lunch. I'm going to make sure you've gone to the doctor, all of the things. That is truly my safe and comfortable space. But once cancer came into the story, and as God was beginning to heal me and the healing was manifesting, I made a promise to him. And one of those promises were, I will come out of the background. I'll stop saying no, and I'll own my platform. And so as all of these things are unfolding present day, I'm just like, girl, now why would you make that promise? Right. But even just because everything is so big, it's so scary per se, right? But even in all of the vastness of everything that is unfolding and opening up for me, there's a peace that I have because I'm prepared. I feel like my entire 39 years, I'll be 40 this year, August 28th. I feel like my entire 39 years have been for this moment right here. So when I'm getting the calls, when I'm getting the requests, and they're like, hey, send me your bio. Hey, are you an author? Hey, do you have a curriculum on this? I'm telling you, every request I have received to date, I have immediately, yep, sure do. Yep, sure do. And so, my family and everybody's like, well, P, how do you have all of this stuff already? Right. And I was like, during recovery, I took that time to be productive. I did not binge watch Netflix. I did not binge watch TV. For God to have spared my life and given me an opportunity to live again, to raise my baby, to do all the things that I requested of him, my thank you was being productive. My thank you was going back to all of the projects he had given me throughout the years and completing them, i.e., the power you carry. Like I said, I had started writing it years before, but I hadn't finished it. And so going back to finish all of the things that he had given me in this space of clarity, in this space of purpose, in this space of healing, in this space of perspective. And so it was like, God, you saved my life, you spared my life. The least I can do is complete the works that you've given me. And so that's really how I spent my time of recovery. And so not only was recovery healing and grounding for me, right? Because people are always like, well, P, how did you make it through? Like, how did your faith stay so strong? And how did you have the strength that you did? Like, we never saw you flinch. We never saw you waver. As a matter of fact, one of my closest friends, he said to me the other day, P, you made cancer look easy.
wow.
And while I appreciated the compliment, I was just like, what the heck? Like, cancer was everything opposite of
Right.
easy, right? But I totally understood what he was saying, and he was like, we want to hear about your system of belief because that's literally what brought you through. Like, when I tell you you did that, right? And so I was super grateful and super appreciative of the compliment, but cancer was not easy. It was a every day, every second fight. And during the ring the bell ceremony, my shirt said cancer started the fight, but I finished it with my faith. And so my bottom line throughout that entire journey was, he's either God of all or he's not God at all. Because for me to have been a woman of faith for all of these years, and now that I'm in the fire, now that I'm being tried, now that I'm being challenged, faint, waver, or doubt, no, 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 no. I had to activate and actively walk in the faith that I preached and taught about for all these years. If he did it before, he can do it again. You
Mm-hmm.
know, same God back then, same God right now. You know, like he is the healer of all healers. He is the chief physician, you know. So it was really living and putting my faith in action, and put your money where your mouth is, right? And so that was really what I walked out during that time and during my time of healing and recovery. So another thing about my recovery was that ultimately, I know it's going to sound crazy, but cancer allowed me to heal in places that I didn't, number one, know were broken, or number two, didn't want to uh, admit were broken. Right. So there was some hypervigilance I had to address. And we know that hypervigilance is a trauma response. Right. And so, more specifically, um, I continued to work the first 6 months of treatment, which were the most intense, and before my first surgery. So I went to work every day. But my village had kicked in and started helping me with, like with Logan and other things. Like my only responsibility was myself. So this particular day, I came home and TT was like, "P, how you feel?" I'm like, "I'm cool." She like, "You need help with anything?" I'm like, "No." She was like, "You about to go lay down?" I was like, "Yeah." So at this time, we were living in the condo, and it was about 15 steps that I had to go up. Right, and she like, "You need help up the steps?" I'm like, "No, I got it." Guys, it took me about 15 minutes to get up these steps, right? But I refused to ask her for help, right? So I get upstairs and I just fall on the bed because I'm super exhausted, don't have any more strength for anything, right? And I just lay there and look up at the ceiling like, "Girl, what is wrong with you? Like, why wouldn't you ask her for help?" And so it was like, "No, Penelope, you're unwell, sis. Like you you need to get to the root of this and why you're not okay with asking for help." And as I began to unpack and peel back the layers, it was like, "No, P, this is a trauma response. You have been disappointed by people and you have built a wall up and you feel like you have to do everything by yourself and of yourself. And that's not healthy. And nor is that a truth." And so I really had to sit in that and deal with myself. And I think that was really the beginning of me peeling back layers. And it was just like, wow, well, if this is where I was at with that, what else is in there? That what narrative have I been living as a truth and have adopted it as my truth that is a whole complete lie? And so I really started dealing with the childhood trauma and, you know, the things that had just been a part of my life that really weren't truths, but I had been living them as such. And so I'm saying all that to say that I'm very appreciative of this journey that God allowed me to go through. God did not give me cancer, right? But He did allow me to go through it victoriously. I knew from the beginning that this too should pass, as it has. And I really just walked that out. And um, if you had have asked me, P, where do you see yourself at the end of your journey, at the beginning of my journey? Guys, it was not here. I
You,
literally
you said before we started the show that things about your current experience
Mhm,
are a bit in disagreement because before where you are now, as far as the
mhm,
book is concerned, which we're going to talk about in a bit,
mhm,
as
mhm.
far as that is concerned, all you wanted to do was just raise your baby,
Yes.
go to work,
Yeah,
get your pay,
yeah.
and
Tell a few people about breast cancer and
right,
awareness, right?
and,
Just a few people.
and live your quiet, modest life.
Quiet life.
happily ever after,
Happily ever after in our little corner of the
and
world.
that things have changed.
Yeah.
The experience,
Mhm.
the cancer experience,
Mhm.
the diagnosis, the processing, the acceptance,
Mhm.
the treatment,
Mhm.
and recovery,
Mhm.
and the eventual healing, I'd say.
Mhm.
To this book,
Mhm.
what is the link?
The link is the stages of healing and growing and becoming that happened during recovery. So obviously there was a physical healing, right, that took place. There was also a spiritual and emotional and psychological healing that took place during this space of recovery. And so there were a lot, I won't say a lot, but enough of my personal behaviors or uh, ways like overextending myself, right? So prior to cancer, somewhere in my brain, burnout, exhaustion, overworking was noble. It was great. No, that's crazy work, right? Like rest is holy. And I talk about rest a lot in the book because not only is rest holy, rest is healing for your soul, for your mind, for your body. A lot of my healing and I think the how fast I was able to heal was because I was able to rest and just simply sleep and allow my body to do what it needed to do, alongside the medicine. But resting is holy. And prior to this journey, you really couldn't get me to rest. Although I was always a fan of naps, right? I love nap. Listen, I'm your nap girl, right? But
You could nap for the United States.
yeah, listen, I was your nap girl. But there was still another part of my brain that thrived in burnout, thrived in exhaustion. And the more I work, the better it is. The more I work, something said the more valuable I was, or something crazy, right? And that wasn't truth at all. And so during this journey of cancer and healing and recovery, I really got to hone in on the importance of rest and how healing resting actually is. And resting is not a place of weakness. Okay. Resting is a place of strength. And ultimately, guys, resting is a place of trust because you have to trust that as you're resting, whatever else is going on, whatever else is happening, it's going to be okay. And that it's okay for you to rest. So it's really a matter of trust. But that was something that I unpacked and that was revealed to me, during this space and place of recovery. Another thing that opened up to me on this pertaining to the book, right, was the power you carry. So a lot of people ask, like, well, P, how did you do it? And my answer is my faith, because that's my truth. Um, but really unpacking that, right? So the way that I was able to navigate all of these health challenges, and listen, guys, it was not just cancer during this time. My grandfather passed away. My grandfather was 99 years and 1 day. 91 days after he passed away, my grandmother passed away. These two were my cornerstones. These two were my safe place and have been for my entire life. So not only was I navigating fighting for my life, I also then had to navigate grief of two of the most important people to me in my whole entire life. Two of my safe places gone in one quarter, in 91 days apart from each other, right? So I had to navigate that. I went to my grandfather's services. I had drains taped to my body because there was absolutely no way I was missing his service. I remember waking up from surgery. I'm like, hey, do what y'all got to do because I got to go. I got a service to go to. They're like, we're going to get you out of here, Penelope. We promise. Yeah, you are. I'm going to get up and leave, right? by God's grace, everything went fine and I didn't have to sign myself out, but I would have. But it was a lot that I was navigating all through the fight. And it was my faith, but it unfolded that everything I needed, I had it on the inside of me. Every part that I needed to navigate, to unpack, any tool that I needed to sit with myself with, it was already on the inside of me. It was nothing that I had to necessarily go outside of myself to get. And that was very key. And I was like, this is a message for the world,
Right.
right? Like understanding that the power that most people are chasing, the external validation that people are in pursuit of, no, 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 no. It's on the inside. It's not on the outside, right? And understanding that power is not something that you pursue or you look for externally, you look for it within.
And that takes me to the title
Mhm.
of the book itself.
Mhm.
It says power, the power you carry.
Mhm.
How did you come about the title?
The cancer journey for sure. Understanding that we have power. You know, we are vessels of power. We were created in power. We were created by power. And for us to be made in his image and after his likeness, power is who we are, you know, but it's something that most of us aren't aware of. And it's a level of self-awareness that most of us have not checked the box of because like I said, we are externally looking for power. We're looking for more money. We're looking for the position. We're looking for all of the external things to make us powerful, not realizing we are vessels of power. It's already on the inside of us.
You the part the book has a 5 parts,
Mhm.
and the first one talks about awakening to truth.
Mhm.
You talk about face yourself, identity barriers.
Mhm.
You know, I would say these are like the foundations, the preparations to the entirety of the book.
Mhm.
Um, and then you talked about healing and restoration. You know,
Mhm.
so you have to awake to the truth, and then
You can
healing,
start healing.
restoration,
Mhm.
and then what is the role of the third part that I want to mention now? Faith and
Mhm.
obedience. What is the role?
Everything, right? Because faith, it takes faith to face yourself. It takes faith to face the dark places. It takes faith to heal. Because here's the other thing that I found during this journey: healing is messy. It is not linear, right? And so for us analytical, logical people, we want things to go A, B, C, one, two, three. We go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here. And it makes some type of sense. Healing does not make sense. Healing is messy. And so in my survivorship group, right, I have um, created phases. It's called phases of survivorship, but in essence, it's phases of healing, right? And the first phase is grief. The second phase is reframing or redefining. And the third phase is empowerment. Now, here's the thing: when you first are healing or you are first dealing with whatever it is, that's a moment of grief. You're sad, you're confused, you're whatever that looks like. You're grieving old versions of yourself. I'll never be this person again. I'll never be able to do this again. Like it's grief. It's a lot. It's heavy, right? And then it's like, okay, I accept this. This is the cross I'm bearing. This is where I am right now. This is my reality. Okay, what's next? And so then that second phase is redefining or reframing, right? And so survivorship, healing, however you want to call it, it's not about returning to the old you. It's about becoming the new you, right? And so in that, there has to be a reintroduction of you to you, right? And so in you reintroducing yourself to yourself, you get to reframe, you get to redefine yourself. You get to say, okay, what parts of me, the old me that I like, that I want to carry over to this new me, and what parts do I want to say, heck no, leave those there? And what do I want to fill that in with? Right. So you get to redefine, reframe yourself. And then the third phase is empowerment, right? You're empowered. Like, yes, I made it through this. I made it through that. I was able to overcome this. I was able to overcome that. But here is the part, guys. There are so many times where you are in grief, reframing, and empowerment all at the same time. It's not like you got 2 feet in grief, you got 2 feet in your redefining phase, and then you got 2 feet in empowerment. No, sometimes it's a toe in empowerment, a finger in grief, and your elbow in redefining and reframing. Like, and so while you're healing or while you're becoming, while you're growing, right? A lot of times you feel crazy because you feel there are so many emotions that are going on all at the same time, right? And so something that I share with the ladies at the survivorship group is oftentimes we feel like we have to pick one emotion. I either have to be grieving or grateful. And I'm like, no, sometimes you're both. You're grieving and grateful. Yes, you miss this part of you. Yes, you miss that, this, that, or whatever, but you're also grateful. And it's the power of and, right? So I can be grieving and I can be grateful, or it's the two things can be true. I'm grieving and I'm grateful, right? I'm grieving and I'm have joy. So it's not that I have to pick this or pick that. It's coexisting, things living in the same space at the same time and both being true
in real time.
in real time, just like that.
I had to take it there. And I mean, talking about obedience and understand over understanding.
Mhm.
We've seen historically, even in the Bible, that obedience led a lot of people to where God promised them.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to make sense,
Right.
just obey.
Yeah.
Rather than understanding, which, one's understanding, which even
Mhm.
the Bible warns against,
Mhm.
that we should all trust in the Lord with all our hearts and not
Lean
and
not.
on your own understanding.
Mhm.
Understanding is one of the downfalls,
Yes.
a major downfall of a major king in the Bible who decided to keep the spoils,
Mhm.
and spare the king for,
Mhm.
for whatever reason. It was his own understanding, but
Mhm.
it was a deviation from obedience.
Mhm.
How has obedience helped you in this journey?
Wow.
Before I jump into the other ones,
Yeah. Um Obedience has kept me alive.
how?
Um in every way, right? Because, okay, so for the cancer, well, first of all, let's go before cancer. Being obedient to the call of God on my life. Um, I have always been a student of process, right? So although I have grown up in the church, I've never desired the pulpit, right? Because as my bishop says, it's a pulpit. It will pull you down if you're not prepared, right? It will pull you into the pit if you're not properly prepared. And so I have always been a student of process because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt there is protection in the process. And I'm going to say it again for the person in the back. There is protection in the process. And so during that process, there were times where I felt like, okay, I had grown to a certain space and I was ready for whatever it was that I was ready for. But certain times, my pastor, Bishop would be like, okay, P, not yet. And cool. I never really bucked up. I never really felt any kind of way. And it was like, okay, cool. And it would always happen shortly after something would happen. And I'd be like, oh, whew, I'm glad I wasn't there, or I'm glad I didn't do that. Right. And so there was protection in that obedience. Right. And did I understand it immediately all the time when he would respond the way he would? Absolutely not. But again, not long after, I would see something else happen and I'd be like, oh, yeah, good looking, Bishop. Like you did your big one with that. Like, excellent. I'm so glad I wasn't there at that time, even as it pertains to the cancer journey, right? So, had I not had Logan, I would have gone the natural holistic route. But I had a baby to live for. And I was like, this the quickest way out. So chemo it is. And so there was a bit of a battle, right? In my inner person's like, did you make the right decision? And hindsight is always 2020, right? So now being on the outside of everything, it's like, no, you definitely made the right decision, And so I feel like my journey was seamless. I never had to go back into the hospital other than the times that I was scheduled to be there. I never had to push back any chemo treatments. My levels were always where they were supposed to be, even as it pertains to food, right? So once I found out my specific diagnosis, which was triple positive breast cancer, right? It's called ductal carcinoma. It was in my right breast and some of my lymph nodes. I immediately started researching that type of cancer and I immediately changed my diet because food is medicine, right? When done the right way. It wasn't no, let me transition, let me ease into it. No, did the research, got off work, went to the grocery store, bought all the things. I started eating melons. So my diet consisted of like honeydew, cantaloupe, blueberries, watermelon, pineapple, like literally 90% of my diet was raw during treatment. Now, I did not restrict myself. Like if I wanted something, I ate it, right? Because you got to enjoy life. But it was in moderation. Fighting for my life was really my purpose. So I'm saying that to say obedience saved my life because I think the chemo was able to work as well as it did because I had a clean vessel. It didn't have to fight through fatty, greasy foods. It didn't have to fight through uh diabetes, hypertension, because I don't have any of that, And so obedience has played a role in every part of my life. And I do believe it is because of my obedience that I am where I am today, how I am today, in the way I am today.
We are talking about the book, The Power You Carry by Penelope Hyatt. And the book has three parts. The first one is Awakening to Truth, which is about facing yourself, identifying barriers. The second part of the book says Healing and Restoration. And when you get to that, book, the third and fourth chapters talk about healing as a choice, that it is a choice. It talks about boundaries and peace. The third part of the book is about faith and obedience, which she just talked about. And that is about obedience over understanding and aligning with God's timing. The fourth part of the book is about identity and authority. And it talks about you knowing your worth. And it talks about authority in action. The final, the fifth part, excuse me, is a six-part book. I chewed the other one. I just spit it out now. And it's about maturity and growth. And that one talks about emotional and spiritual maturity, which, takes place in the course of the journey as you unfold. And then it says, let go to grow. The last part is very interesting to me. It says stewardship and finishing strong. It says steward your life and finish strong. Aligning with God's timing to take you back is not something that the fast-paced nature of the world wants you to do. It wants you to move according to your timing. And that's where we get into a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But then we have to go back to align with God.
Yeah. Because he's the big dog.
to get things fixed up.
God's way or no way. Yeah.
There's a part which is probably going to be our last part because we've done over 30 minutes now. And that part is about finishing strong. Penelope, what do you mean by finishing strong in the book?
Do well. Finish, hold your course, finish strong, complete all the things, go back to whatever it is that you left, and go with wisdom, go with grace, go with understanding, go with compassion, go with information, go with revelation, go with insight. whatever it is, right? Cancer may not be your story, but whatever your story is, whatever traumatic event you have survived. And here's another thing that I do want to say about trauma. Trauma is not always about what happened to you. A lot of times trauma can be about what did not happen for you, the protection that you didn't get, the affirmations that you did not get, the I love yous you did not get, the hugs you did not get. So you survived. You are on the other side of that, right? And so I made the survivorship group Thrive Beyond because so many people get trapped in the diagnosis. So many people get trapped in the dark place. So many people get trapped in the confusing place. And it's just like, well, this where I'm at, so this where I'm gonna be. No, that does not have to be your story. You have the ability to look inside yourself, heal by faith those dark places, heal those wounds. And listen, if you don't have the capacity to do it in and of yourself, go get help. That does not make you less of a Christian. That does not make you less of a human. That does not make you less of a woman. That does not make you less of a man. If you need somebody to hold your hand and help you navigate your healing, that is perfectly okay. That does not make you have less faith. None of that. Okay. You are still everything that you are supposed to be. You are just on your journey of healing. And if you need accompaniment through that, do not be afraid to ask for help, but do the work. I promise you. Healing is some of the most powerful work you will ever do. And again, it does not have to be physical. It can be mental, psychological, spiritual, emotional. Healing is some of the most powerful work you will ever do. The world calls it shadow work. I call it soul work. When you really take the time to navigate the layers of your soul and heal that inner child so that you can be a healthy adult, so that you're the adult that says, hey, pain stops with me. Hey, this generational curse, it will no longer proceed to generations after me. I am the one who will end this dysfunction, and this family, this lineage from this generation forward will be everything that God has called us to be. Excuse me. So, yeah.
We are talking about the book, The Power You Carry, Penelope, the book, and the message. And if you're joining us on this episode, this very intense and enriching episode of all these things on Rest of Week FM, we're talking about the book, The Power You Carry, and the message, and the story,
Mhm.
and the person who tells the story. The Power You Carry is shaped by Penelope's lived experience of navigating physical recovery from breast cancer, grief, emotional healing, and leadership while still being called to show up and serve. Now, rather than writing from theory, she writes from the tension of holding faith while carrying weight, learning that strength is often developed in private before it is ever seen in public. And that's when I say when God calls you, He builds that strength, which means people see the results, the glory around the calling, but they didn't see the preparatory stage, which is like dying
Yes.
completely and
Yes.
having to sprout. Penelope is a Penelope Hyatt is a faith-based teacher, writer, transformational guide whose work focuses on helping individuals recognize, steward, and walk in the power they carry, especially through seasons of loss, healing, and transition. She believes that power is not loud or forceful, but often revealed through endurance, obedience, and quiet, fortified faith. She is the founder of Heal, Grow, Become Group LLC, where she develops trauma informed, spiritually grounded frameworks that integrate biblical truth, emotional awareness, and, of course, practical application. And I'm a witness to all these things, on all these things.
Yeah. In real time.
Known for her steady voice and reflective approach, Penelope creates space for readers to pause, breathe, and recognize that what they carry, faith, resilience, wisdom, and purpose, is not accidental. It's been a very huge blessing on the show today, but we're not done yet. I just said that because it just struck my mind how much we've shared on the show today.
Mhm.
The book,
Mhm.
how have things been since you put it out there?
Things have been great. So the signing is next Saturday, March 14th at 2 p.m. at Panera Bread at Harvard Park. I do encourage you guys to do pre-sales because I got some pretty cool gifts for those who participate in a pre-sale. But if you're not able to, that's fine. You can just meet us at Panera Bread. If you are not local, you can DM us here at Wrestle Freak FM, and Papa T will get me the information. And payment options are Cash App, Zelle, Apple Pay, all of the things. Just reach out and we'll make it work. But I would love to see you guys next Saturday at Panera Bread at Harvard Park. Um, yep, I was gonna tell you guys a surprise, but nope, I want you to be surprised when you get there.
There's a 2 minute testimonial that we were able to access. Let me see if we can get it. Let me punch it in right away and I'll be back.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like life keeps pushing you back just when you're trying to move forward? Like the weight of expectations, disappointments, or even other people's opinions are holding you still? I have too. That's exactly why The Power You Carry is a must read. It's a powerful reminder that forward movement doesn't start outside of you, it starts within. This book is not fluffy motivation, it's fuel. It's the kind of daily truth that hits you in the chest and reminds you who you are. It's simple yet grounding reminders that help you reset your mindset, reclaim your strength, and remember who you are when life feels heavy. Every page feels like a reset button. It challenges you. It sharpens you. It pushes you forward even when life is trying to hold you back. One chapter that deeply stood out to me is Boundaries and Peace. In this chapter, it's clear that peace is not something you find, it's something you protect. And boundaries are the tools that protect it. It teaches you that peace isn't passive, and boundaries are power. We often think setting boundaries is selfish, but this book reframes it beautifully. Boundaries aren't walls to shut people out. They're doors that decide what gets access to your energy. The chapter reminds us to stop overthinking, stop overgiving, and stop shrinking just to keep others comfortable. The power you carry reminds us that we are not powerless. We carry strength, we carry choice, we carry the ability to pause, reset, and move forward, even if it's only small steps at a time. If you're tired of shrinking, if you're tired of explaining, if you are tired of feeling stuck and overwhelmed, or simply ready to grow, this book will meet you where you are and nudge you forward. And sometimes that nudge is exactly what we need. I ask you to accept the call to grow. Purchase this book, read it, and choose to walk in your power.
Well, that tells the whole story.
It
I'd
does.
say it tells the whole story. And if you're watching this show, if you're looking at your screen, I'm going to leave everything here and all the information you need about what's next, especially the event coming up on the 14th of March, 2026 at 2 p.m. at Panera Bread. Uh, Everything is here. And just in case you want to get your book to be able to ask questions on that day, it's just about 100 pages. You should be able to read that in an hour. Yeah. Penelope, sometimes you look at a book and you be like, wow, this is a huge volume. And let me just read the intro.
Mm-hmm.
And from the intro, you know, I've been in situations where back in Africa, my parents would send me on errands and I'm reading the book on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's like 2, 3, 4 pages to finish, that's when I'll be myself, with the book, read a few lines and keep because I don't want the book to end. What I'm trying to say is there are times when you pick up some books just to read the intro, and in an hour you've devoured the book because If it resonates with you, you
Mhm.
just get hooked on it.
Yeah.
So, if you want to buy the book, we have the QR code for Cash App and Zelle. You can, scan both, and of course, if you have other questions, you can reach out to us on Resofreak FM or also on Penelope Hyatt on Instagram, on Facebook. You should be able to reach her. And if you reach us on Resofreak FM, be sure that we'll get your messages across to her.
Mhm.
But whatever questions you have, whatever ideas you have, whatever forms of support you have, because you could do with a lot of that, just
Mhm.
come to the event, ask questions, see how you can be of help, and how, of course, she can help you. And I'd also like to say that Penelope is available for speaking engagements. She is already moving around all over the place,
Mhm.
being called to share her story, talk about the book. But remember, at this point, it is not just the book that is the book. Penelope is the book.
Yeah.
She's been through it. So it's not like she's offering theory through this book. It's a product of life's experience.
Mhm.
The QR code is still here. And of course, it will be there till the show is over. Scan the QR code and buy your copy. If you have any issues, reach out to Penelope. And of course, we promise you, we'll get you a copy.
Yeah.
It's not for free. And if you like, you can buy the book and also come on the day to donate. It's accepted, it's warmly welcome.
Yeah.
Just as Penelope is willing to help through, the sharing of her experience, the content of the book, she is also open to support, to donations, because this is not a sprint, it's a marathon,
That's right.
and it needs resources to be able to continue. Penelope, it's always a blessing to have you here. And by the way, we have a Matrina Cherie.
Hey,
She says,
Martrina.
great job, friend.
Thank
And of
you.
course, it's a great job. Let me see. Um, this is the book. Let me see. Yeah, The Power You Carry by the one and only Penelope Hyatt, bringing the book to your space in real time.
In real time.
And there's one of us who conveys her special congratulations and best wishes. Uh, Mary Louise Tatum. She's not able to be with us
Yeah.
because she's got a lot going on.
Mhm.
In the spirit of Rest Africa FM, in the spirit of all those things, and on behalf of the Rare Breed community, we say congratulations,
Thank
Penelope.
you.
We accept our best wishes for a successful unfolding
Yes.
of the book and the big future that it promises ahead.
Yes.
And remember, this is home.
It is.
When you travel all over the place,
this is
home.
home. Yes.
I have a song for you that I want to play before we end the show. It's a personal song, one that I wrote that we've played many times here. Uh,
Okay, as you're getting that ready, I want to shout out to my marketing team. You guys have done a phenomenal job with the flyers and the videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Even though I've been resistant to the press because they've been pressing me out, Papa T, come on, P, we gotta take more pictures. We gotta do. I'm like, listen, I don't have nothing else to say, and I'm not about to find another outfit to put on. But I appreciate the press. It has gotten us this far. You guys are amazing. You rock. I love you.
I know you just want to live your quiet life. You want to live happily ever after. But
calling for greater.
this is the time.
Yes.
Soak it in
It is.
and show up.
I
Because
will.
just like
Physically empowered.
Yes, because just like you said, you still
Mhm.
got to steward your life.
That's
You
right.
still got to answer for this face.
That's right.
So let's do it.
Let's go.
We want to thank every individual who's been a part of this journey. It's an amazing book. It's a beautiful read. The fonts are encouraging to the eyes. You don't have to have glasses to read them. You don't need binoculars. You don't need all those, lab lens to read them. Very interesting, easy to read. You can connect with almost every essence in the book because it's not from theory, it's from experience. My name is Oluwatoyin Ojeyomi, the one you know as Papa T, and by God's grace, the chief representative of the Rare Breed community of Rest Africa Fem. And as I play the song, everyone has the right to be happy if only we make the choice.
Yeah.
As I play that, I say peace, love, and blessings. And we'll see you again next week. Bye for now. I wanna be free to be me, to do whatever feels like me. I'll try my best to understand you when you do that which feels like you, which feels like you. Cause everyone has the right to be happy. Everyone has the right to feel good. Everyone has the right to be happy. If only we make the choice. Ah. Life is too short not to be real. To care for yourself is the real deal. So I try my best not to judge you. When it's my turn, don't you judge too. Don't you judge too. Cause everyone has the right to be happy. Everyone has the right to feel good. Everyone has the right to be happy. If only we make the choice. Ah. Cause everyone has the right to be happy. Everyone has the right to feel good. Everyone has the right to be happy. If only we make the choice. Ah.